All right. It is Monday, April 8th. Welcome to the Damon Bruce Show. Little late start here, just a scotch, because I ran upstairs for a little refill. Sip of the day's already passed, obviously. And then I tripped coming down the stairs and spilt half of this on the staircase. Yeah, so I had a coffee waterfall inside of the house, had to clean that up. And then I just peeked outside to see if we got any eclipsing going on. It's a weird day. It's Eclipse Day. It's the end of days. It's a day where we have a solar event that is like once in a lifetime or whatever it is. I don't know. I really don't care that much. I got to be totally honest with you. Don't tell me there's something really cool to look at and then tell me I can't just go look at it. In San Francisco, what do we get? About like 35% eclipsing. We're not in the path of totality. Believe it or not, Bloomington, Indiana is apparently one of the greatest places in the world to see this total eclipse today. So that's the championship that Indiana does get, and hopefully Purdue doesn't get one. We got some interesting things to talk about today. Some things that are absolutely things I am not accustomed to watching or seeing, or have had no real interest in watching or seeing, sort of like the eclipse, for a few years. And in one instance, women's college basketball, I can honestly say I watched more of it over this weekend than in all weekends and weekdays of my entire life combined. I've never given college women's hoops the shot that I gave it over this weekend, and that's the power of Caitlyn Clark right there. And we will get into all of that, but again, it's a very stressful day for anyone in the state of Indiana, because you're either in the vast majority of people who care about Indiana as far as IU goes and don't care about Purdue, and you don't want Purdue to win a national championship. And obviously, if you do root for Purdue, this is one of the biggest days of your entire life. The Boilermakers are playing UConn for a national championship in a matter of hours. And look, only 7 programs have ever repeated as national champions. So this is a huge, huge game for both programs. UConn can cement itself among the modern blue bloods with one of the greatest back-to-back, runs any team has ever had. The Huskies are trying to become the 8th team ever to repeat as national championships. The Boilermakers are trying to pull to Virginia, where you lose to a 16 seed in cataclysmically embarrassing fashion one year and then come back and win a national championship. I like Matt Painter. I really do. He runs a good program, a clean program. I don't hate this Purdue team as much as I hate the concept of anyone in West Lafayette having anything to be very proud of. So that's why they can't win. UConn, I need you. I need you today. The Damon Bruce Show, brought to you by Ike's Sandwiches, needs you today, UConn. Get it done, baby. Please get it done. Get it done for me. I got some friends who cared about Connecticut, and I used to joke around when I got to Connecticut how, hey, congratulations, you root for a women's program more than you got a men's program to root for. Well, joke's on me, as UConn can win a championship tonight. That means they've officially surpassed, Indiana and the crown jewel of college basketball. I'll admit to where my Hoosiers are or aren't, shall we say. But I can also guarantee you that Indiana not winning a championship or not making an NCAA tournament is almost bigger news in Indiana than Purdue winning it. Purdue is like a little boutique store of interest, and Indiana basketball, the Hoosiers, are Walmart in the state of Indiana. Hey, congrats to Dawn Staley and her South Carolina team. An undefeated season is clearly nothing to sneeze at. I watched them take out Iowa, and I would recommend that Iowa get more girls who are huge, can pull down rebounds like they're Charles Barkley, and have awesome mops of purple hair. Iowa just got out-muscled in that game. And again, I won't profess to tell you I know anything about women's college basketball. I certainly don't know about the scope of the history of women's college basketball. And I can see that, as soon as anything ends, the debate about whether Caitlyn Clark was even good at this needs to begin, because if she was that great, she would have won a national championship. But look at these numbers, folks. I'm telling you that this championship ring culture that is so just ever present, as like the slowest kid in class is always ever present in class, trying to diminish what Caitlyn Clark has accomplished individually, is insane. It's like holding it against Steph Curry that the Warriors are the 10 seed. Like, you can say whatever you want. It really wasn't him that held the team back. And we'll get to congratulating the Warriors on punching their, not even trip to the playoffs, but the trip to the revolving door that could turn them into a playoff team. That's really the only place that they are. But we'll get into all that in a second here. Is Caitlyn Clark the single best women's player of all time? Is she even the best of her time? Again, I'm not the right person to ask about this, but all of her personal accomplishments, even though her team never pulled the brass ring of winning a national championship, boy, they were sitting on the edge of it. They've really been to the last step in the dance enough times to be impressed by what they've accomplished as a team. But her as an individual, it's just really simply, let me tell you definitively who Caitlyn Clark is. Beyond being a basketball player, beyond being someone to measure against Cheryl Miller or Cheryl Swoops or Dawn Staley herself or whoever your small handful of greatest women's basketball players of all time is. No matter where Caitlyn Clark is in that handful, she is the only woman in this other hand. And in this hand, I have for you the single greatest draw in the history of women's sport. That's who Caitlyn Clark is. We can play the best all time, her time, whatever game. You want to talk about that? Go get someone who knows more about women's college hoops than I do to figure that out. But I'm going to tell you right now, my Caitlyn Clark curiosity brought me to a place I normally do not go, and that is watching a women's college basketball game, much less two in a row. I watched both of Iowa's games almost in their entirety, in the Final Four and in the national championship game. Just sitting around this weekend, the curiosity got the best of me, and I'm telling you right now, she is the single greatest female draw in sports history. That's who Caitlyn Clark is. She is box office. She is the most attention-grabbing female athlete, any sport, anywhere on the planet. Beat it, Venus. Sorry, Serena. Sorry, Martina Navratilova. Sorry, Michelle Wee. Sorry, Flojo. Sorry, Tanya and Nancy Kerrigan. Caitlyn Clark is the biggest draw into the tent of sports that we've ever seen a woman pull in. And I don't know if there's anyone you could even say, no, Damon, it wasn't her. It was X. It was this other woman that you're not thinking of right now. Box office is box office. And Caitlyn Clark is serious box office. Not one person has ever brought more eyeballs to a basketball game. Not a dude has ever brought more eyeballs to a basketball game on ESPN. Looking at some of the ratings, they're just incredible. The Iowa-UConn ratings from the national semifinal, that game generated 14.2 million viewers, peaking at a most eyeballs ever on the game, around 17 million. Still haven't seen the ratings here for the national championship game, but I'm guessing they're going to be an absolute monster approaching 20 million, if not surpassing it, because that game set up to pull people in. It was a ball game at halftime. It remained a ball game as it got through the third quarter and the fourth quarter. By the way, the quarter system is something that the men should think of adopting. But look, Richard Deitch, who covers sports very, very well, he put things into perspective, and I want to share this tweet with you. Caitlyn Clark and Iowa and UConn and the ratings that game got top every World Series game last year. We spent more time watching Caitlyn Clark this weekend than we did Major League Baseball's World Series. If you ever thought you'd live in a world where a women's college basketball game would outrate the World Series, I would have said never, not in my lifetime. Well, it just happened this weekend. So that's who she is. Again, I don't know what I don't know what Caitlyn Clark's purse looks like, but her wallet is the one that says bad motherfucker on it. That's who she is. She outrated every single World Series game last year. She outed every NBA Finals game last year. Caitlyn Clark had more eyeballs on her than the NBA Finals. She outrates every Daytona 500 since 2013, every Masters final round since 2013 as well, and all but 5 college football games in just the last season. Caitlyn Clark puts them in the front row, in the bleachers, and up on the lawn seats more than any woman in the history of sports in America. So that's who she is. And if that's not enough for you, you have an impossible standard. Caitlyn Clark is a bad motherfucker when it comes to getting people to come and watch her play. Oh my God. You can't, and look, the other girls, the women on that Iowa team, ladies, I don't think that what you just did is repeatable. I don't think last year is going to, or next year is going to have, maybe, I don't know, maybe there is a new Caitlyn Clark. Maybe there is someone who creates this level of fascination. But the truth is, what Caitlyn Clark had was years of success, years of unprecedented stat piling, and years of the attention build that used to really benefit the men's NCAA tournament. By the time a guy was in his senior year, you knew all about him and you really knew this team and you had a familiarity with these players, and that's why you were so interested. Caitlyn Clark brought something back to college basketball that it's been lacking, and that is superstar that you're familiar with power. And, you know, everything that I've heard her say has just been said the right way. She is impressive. And oh my God, dude, the minute this chick pulls into the parking lot, she's in range. Like, she really does. Like the whole, hey, you know, this chick shoots from half court. Like, it's not bullshit. Like, that's, wow. I'm sorry, I didn't watch much Caitlyn Clark up until this weekend. She kind of blew me away with some of the things that she did. And I'm going to tell you right now, she might be a better passer than she is a shooter. Like, holy shit. She had some passes going into some other women that they weren't ready for it. So she was really, really impressive. There you go. Caitlyn Clark, you did something that I didn't think could actually happen. You got my full attention. So that to me makes her the single most important women's athlete, certainly in my purview. What is my opinion worth to, you know, the world of women's college basketball? Very little. I don't know much about it. I just started doing this on Friday. So I'm not going to pretend that I'm some expert on anything. But this woman has drawn more attention to her sport than, you know, I mean, the singular person pulling casual fans in, I don't think we've ever had anyone quite like this. You know, maybe Tiger Woods to golf. You know, I think Tiger Woods ushered in a generation of, yeah, I never really watched golf, but I'm going to watch this guy. And that's what Caitlyn Clark just did. So she might not have won the national championship, but she is the people's champ. And we'll talk about the people's elbow and the people's champ here in just a little bit. Again, first time viewer of women's college basketball, and it's been a long time since I've watched a Wrestlemania, but I did that over the weekend too, and we'll get into all that in just a second. But first, let me tell you that I want you to get into something I know you're going to like, and that something is a sandwich from Ike's. I want you to download that app, and I want you to order your Ike's sandwich right off his app. Don't go through DoorDash. Don't go through wherever you can just buy. Go through the Ike's Rewards app, because that way you can start earning your way towards free sandwiches, his delicious sandwiches. I came close to pulling the trigger on the THC this weekend, but for whatever reason, I didn't. Again, I think I get a good idea. It comes into my mind, then it slips out of my mind, and that's what happens when you're chasing two kids around all weekend. I almost got that new sandwich. What is it? Turkey, cream cheese, flaming hot Cheetos. I mean, it sounds like something that THC could be involved in. And it's available in the month of April to celebrate the 420, baby. Cheers. Get yourself an Ike sandwich. Remain safe. I know Smiley Dan would endorse that too. And I know that Smiley Dan also really liked, so I have the big Dubliner and then I have the little Dubliner. We'll just go ahead and put that up there as a little badge right here. Boop, little Dubliner. The Dubliner is one of the great bars in San Francisco. If you haven't been, you got to go. The Dubliner West Portal is just fantastic. It's the right crowd. It's the right people. And I'll tell you, the reason why they wanted to be in business isn't just because the guys who run that place, like me, they love this channel. They love you as a chat room. They love the folks and the way you talk to each other in a normally incredibly toxic world of chatting. What a cool chat we got. Again, I've been singing your praises. And what you are the kind of clients, the kind of customers, the sort of people the Dubliner wants to have pop in. So what a compliment to me that the Dubliner is looking at you and thinking, yeah, we want to hang out with these folks. So we're going to have to arrange ourselves, if not a full-on, straight-up Plus Mania 4, the Eclipse, whatever we're going to call it, we're gonna get over to the Dubliner and bring in a real good crowd of our regulars soon. So keep a lookout for that. And in the meantime, whenever you're on West Portal, pop into the Dubliner. You'll be very, very happy that you did. Let's see. What else we got? Say thank you so much to our sponsors. We love you so much. One last thing on women's college hoops before we move on. Sue Bird is doing like some, wrap up of the women's championship game, and she's talking with Scott Van Pelt there on SportsCenter. And basically, Sue Bird asked about, what Caitlyn Clark is going to be facing when she comes into the WNBA as the number one pick in, the most valuable woman magnet that women's basketball has ever had is going to be a huge draw in the WNBA. And Sue Bird, to me, it depends on how you look at this. To me, it just comes off as a fair warning and a matter-of-fact way to say it. Other people are saying it sounds a little salty. But Sue Bird basically said Caitlyn Clark's going to have a rude awakening when she comes into the WNBA, because you're not going to be playing against 18-year-olds. You're going to be playing against women who have been playing professional basketball for a long time. And so the step up in competition is going to be felt, and you're going to feel size and strength and speed that you might not be accustomed to. And maybe Sue Bird is right. And maybe Caitlyn Clark just shows up as the female LeBron James, and I'm just as good as the best of you from day one, and there ain't that big of a gap as you think there is here, Sue. Maybe that's the way it'll be. But the way that people just expects, Sue Bird is going to welcome her with open arms. Dude, Sue Bird, isn't she one of the few women out there who actually gets to wear the crown if I might be the best at this? And now she's got a challenger coming, and she's basically saying, look out, get in line. And, you want to be the biggest deal? You just were the biggest deal in college. Let's see if you're the biggest deal in our league. I don't begrudge Sue Bird for feeling like that at all. And I promise you, I don't think Caitlyn Clark is mad at her. But boy, people were. And I don't know why. It seems like a fair warning to me. It doesn't come across as that salty or angry or unwelcoming. And by the way, unless Sue Bird's team drafts Caitlyn Clark, she shouldn't be welcoming. What do you think it is we're doing over here? This is professional sports. I want to beat you. That's how it works. So I don't mind it at all. And it seems like America forgets this. I'll say this with caution. Ladies in the chat, you agree with me or you don't? If you're expecting women to be the most complimentary people in the room about other women, clearly you haven't met women yet. Women are brutal on each other. Women are nasty to each other. Women, there's a whole bunch of hallmark bullshit of we're going to prop each other up and reach back and pull everyone up. Dude, at the highest level of cutthroat professional sports, that shit doesn't exist, okay? It doesn't exist at the highest level of cutthroat professional business. It doesn't. It doesn't. The woman who has reached the C-suite of any corporation is a savage killer. That's how she got into the all-boys club. And she got into the all-boys club by savagely killing anyone that ever got in her way to join that club. Women are brutal to each other. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. There's this whole you're going to say all the right stuff in public, but in the meantime, behind the scenes, women destroy each other. Not all women. Just like anything, there's some few outlier, real true hearts out there. But we're talking about the most savage competitors in the animal kingdom. And that's how that kingdom works. So just keep that in mind. By the way, I tested this with Jillian, and she's like, yeah, you can go forward with that segment. That shouldn't get you in too much trouble. But, we'll find out. Luckily, I now work in a place where I'm not going to be firing myself. I've decided. So whoever gets offended by that, we're not going to care much, right? So there you go. In the history of any broadcast I've ever done, I've never started with 20 minutes on women's college hoops. And then I've certainly never pivoted to, let me give you a few minutes on Wrestlemania. But that is where the hell we are. Because I actually watched some Wrestlemania this weekend, and a guy named Cody Rhodes is the new champ. He beats Roman Reigns in a main event that I got to tell you, I don't know much about the bloodline storyline. I know that Cody Rhodes is Dusty Rhodes' kid. And so finally a Rhodes is the heavyweight champion of the wrestling world or whatever. I do know that when The Undertaker he shows up behind Rock, the entire lights go out at the link, and then all of a sudden you hear the dong. And it's The Undertaker. It's The Undertaker. And I haven't watched wrestling in forever. Okay? I haven't watched wrestling. I haven't seen a WrestleMania in 15 or 20 years. The last time I actually watched a WrestleMania from beginning to end was in college in a pay-per-view buy. I have not followed wrestling in years. But I know who The Rock is, and I know who The Undertaker is, and I know who John Cena is. I know who Randy Orton is. I knew Roman Reigns. There's a whole bunch of women's wrestlers who I've never heard of that are out there. And I just said so much nice stuff about women's college basketball. I'm not here to shit on women's wrestling, but I enjoyed WrestleMania. I haven't watched wrestling in years, and I liked WrestleMania. It was fun. And I'll tell you, it was like crack to my boys. It got to the point where I had to turn it off because within 20 minutes of watching wrestling, I had both my kids trying to hit each other over the head with dining room chairs. I mean, it was like showing, I don't know, it's like the movie Clockwork Orange. Right? It's like the movie Clockwork Orange where they peel the eye back and you watch so much violence that all of a sudden now you become violent. It was incredible to watch my kids do this and go through this, and just they'd never seen anything like that before. And a 4.5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old see about 3 minutes of wrestling. They look at each other and they're like, "It's go time. Let's go." So George Kittle was ringside. I reckon Triple H is now the Vince McMahon of wrestling. I had no idea. Triple H, time to play the game. I remember that. So anyways, two things that I normally do not watch, I watched this weekend, and I enjoyed both. TP Joseph Says, women's basketball? I watched WrestleMania. Yeah, see, I did this too. Chef A, yay, Caitlyn Clark. She was unbelievable. She's worth the price of admission. She really is. The WNBA is better quality than NCAA men, better shooting and fundamentals. Nah, I don't know about that. Red Jet Shell saying, Caitlyn's wallet be like, girl, you're going to have to schedule a meeting with me to hold these coins. Yes. Yeah. She is about to be, as high profile a professional athlete as I think we have in America. Is it sustainable? I don't know. I don't know how much of the Caitlyn Clark interest at the next level is sustainable, but she absolutely helped usher in a women of college basketball success, of women's college basketball success I didn't think would ever be available. But here we are. Ike saying, I'll draft her right now. Lori Matthews saying, my daughter and I watched every women's game this weekend, all highly entertaining. It was heartbreaking for UConn, but definitely a must watch. Again, I didn't have a single dog in the fight. I just thought it was pretty interesting. Like, I watched it thinking like, oh, I'm just going to, in my own mind, just kind of crap on this. I really couldn't. Angel Reese. Yeah, absolutely. She had a look, too, about her, right? Angel Reese is just freaking gorgeous and great head of hair, long legs, which she's got the purple, the full leg sleeve is always on one of her legs there. Caitlyn. She's the WNBA's Curry. Yeah, I mean, she looks like one of the single greatest shooters I've ever seen. I don't think she'd get half look at it this way. She wouldn't get half those shots off against, men, but against women, she's a queen. Caitlyn Clark going to win the Royal Rumble next year. Hey, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she were invited. WrestleMania is smart. They know how to get the celebs there. Again, George Kittle sitting courtside. So this is the women, the girl for South Carolina who had the purple hair. Cardosa should do well in the WNBA. Dubba B Tree. Maybe. Oh, hold on. Sporticus is saying Katie Ledecky on line 2. You got to be kidding. Get out. Come on, dude. Katie Ledecky. If you walked up to anybody in the world right now who didn't follow Olympics or know anything about something, and you say, who's Katie Ledecky? You would not get much of a response. No, Katie Ledecky is not on line 2 in terms of most important dominant woman athlete ever. Come on. Get out of here. Got my man Aaron Rivera, who I'm sure is just very happy that the whole Shohei Ohtani might be gambling story has just vanished. By the way, anybody notice that? Just, there's Shohei Ohtani. Oh, you might have. Oh, never mind. I guess there'll be no follow-up questions. Okay. WrestleMania is rumored to be in Vegas next year. Might be time to take a trip in and see it in person, Damon. I'm going to tell you right now, wrestling is better on TV than it is in person. Imagine if you were sitting in the 400 level of the link. What did you see? You basically watched the wrestling on the big screen. So I don't know how much I'd want to go. But, it would be fun. Anything in Vegas, sure. Why not? Let's see. Big Mac saying, yeah, man. Clusers are indeed the coolest. They really are. It's an awesome group. It's an awesome group. TP Joseph says, how can we get a Dubliner tee? Well, their T-shirts are awesome. You go into the Dubliner, buy yourself a drink, and then buy a T-shirt. That's how you get a Dubliner tee. By the way, how we doing? Are we frickin' eclipsing right now? Wasn't the eclipse supposed to be happening in our 11 o'clock hour? We got any like day walkers among us? And do we is there a world full of zombie out there now? Zombies. I guess not. Is zombie? It's the plural of zombies is zombies, right? Not zombie. The zombie. I think it's zombies. Looks like we're taking a field trip to the Dubliner. That's right, San Bruno Mike. Shout out West Portal. That's right, the Dubliner on West Portal. That's the one we'll be heading to. Red Jet saying, can we do the next Wrestlemania on a Saturday, please and thanks? It could happen. It could happen. West Portal. People are excited. Carl is reporting. Let's see. Carl here. This tweet came in about 15 minutes ago. The eclipse. Have we been eclipsed? How did it go? Did anybody stare directly into that bad boy? Here you go. Sporticus saying, we are the Guinness of chat rooms. Sophisticated, satisfying. Yes. Wrestlemania 4, the eclipse. We could have timed that a little bit better, right? Probably could have timed that just a little bit better. Caitlyn Clark's going to make an awful lot in sponsorship. Caitlyn Clark will make more money off the court than she ever will on the court in the WNBA. There's no doubt about that. E. Scott Burns, it's officially time to throw on Bonnie Taylor's Total Eclipse of the Heart on loop. What's it? Once upon a time I was falling in love. Now I'm only falling apart. Nothing I can do. Total Eclipse of the Heart. Is that it? The lyrics are somewhere in that neighborhood. I didn't think we'd have Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart on here today, but again, this is why this is awesome. This chat room is incredible. Breaking news. This is from MP. Pros are better than college players. Thanks, Sue. Yeah. Yeah, there's a little of that going on. But I really mean it. I enjoyed women's college basketball more than I thought I would, and I really enjoyed Wrestlemania more than I thought I would. I did. Damon, Blake Snell on the mound tonight. I agree. He is going to be on the mound tonight. Little flip back for that Purdue UConn national championship game. Let's see how Blake Snell does in his Giant debut. Again, we're not going to do any let's recap the weekend for the Giants. I need 20, 25, 30 games out of this team before we know what we're really looking at. I think the Giants are going to be better than anyone's worst fears suggested, and they won't be nearly as good as the greatest hopes are hoping they will be. They're going to be they're going to be a baseball team, which ain't bad considering what you got from frickin' the A's, who are not a baseball team. Did I say basketball team? Baseball team. You know what I mean. All right. Who's the best WNBA player right now? See, I'm not the person to be asking. I don't know. Red Jet saying, respectfully, men are way more catty than women. No, men are a lot more direct there. There's not a lot of cattiness. There's more just directly, fuck you, I think, in the world of men, which thank God, I need that. I need the directness. I don't do well in caddy worlds. All right. What else do we get? Red Jet, I love you too. I freaking love you. You know it. Michelle saying, I don't think that what Sue Bird said was salty. It made me chuckle. I thought it was just facts. Yeah, again, I didn't think it was salty either. I don't know why it was received so poorly. MP, acknowledge him, Damon. I don't know who him is. Yes, I do. It's the tribal chief. See, I paid enough attention. There you go. I don't know why this is the tribal chief. I don't know why, but Roman Reigns was working this. The Rock did this. Then he did the this, and he did the slam, and gave us a people's elbow. Most electric finishing move in sports history. Aaron, thank you very much for the super chat. There you go. Tribal chief. Let's see. What else we got going on? Yeah, The Undertaker's got to be about 60 by now, at least, right? Big Mac. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's a bit older. I mean, he was out there to make one appearance and then one choke slam, and then he just disappeared. Not going to lie, Tiger Tank. I was disappointed that Stone Cold didn't show up yesterday. I'm telling you, I was watching that main event, waiting to hear that glass break and thinking, okay, here we go. I would have been excited for that too. The last time I routinely watched wrestling, Stone Cold was a huge centerpiece of it. But I thought The Rock and Stone Cold, like that made an awful lot of sense. Get them both out there for all that. That would have been good. Didn't happen. But again, once those lights went out and you got the dong, the Undertaker, I was in. Where was the hat though? Like how come the dead man wasn't wearing the hat and the jacket? I guess he's still in biker Undertaker mode. Is that what that is? Is that biker Undertaker? The American Dream, old school Dusty Rhodes fan. That's why I get he's the American Nightmare now. Love it. The regular Ryan. CM Punk and Damon are cut from the same cloth. Check out some of his interviews and promos. So I totally miss the CM Punk era. I don't know much about him other than like he bounced around leagues for a while. He pisses everybody off, but I don't know if that's for real or an act or anything. But yeah, that does sound familiar to me. I might have done that throughout my career once or twice. Jack off the top rope. What happened? Jack handled it a little bit better. Ozzy saw wrestling for the first time, and he started like throwing himself back onto the couch. Like he's trying to take that dive. He's trying to take the fall. He's trying to do like the backwards Ric Flair. Instead of the face plant, he's trying to go backwards. And then one point, he missed the couch, and he hit it just boom, right on the floor. I'm like, all right, I got to turn wrestling off for a little while until the boys are out of the room. Get my kids are concussing each other. Concussing themselves. So there we go. I never thought I'd do a show where there was 40 minutes on women's basketball and wrestling, but here we are. Little Niners news, and again, the reason why I'm so comfortable talking women's basketball and wrestling is because Larry Kruger and I did over an hour on Wake Up already today with all the Niners news that you could fit into an hour on a Monday on April 8th that anyone needs. Today is Cooper DeJean's individual pro day at Iowa. Cooper DeJean is a cornerback who could play safety, who could play nickel, who is just an absolute stud. I'm sure the 49ers are going to have an awful lot of representatives on hand today to watch that work out. He could be one of those So you're thinking that the 49ers are going to go O-line early, but the guys that they liked are off the board. And now, do you really want the 10th best offensive lineman? Or do you want one of the first secondary players available? And I think that Cooper DeJean could be there at 31 for the Niners. That is someone that they should take a good look at. Our pal Kyle Madison looking at later on in the draft, a day 3 option. He says that the 49ers are bringing in Penn State right tackle Caden Wallace for a top 30 visit. He started 40 of 47 games. He played for the Nittany Lions at right tackle. He checks an awful lot of the size boxes at 6'5" with 34-inch arms. He's a 320-pound kid, and he's got a reputation for being an even better pass blocker than he is a run blocker, which is what the Niners needed to get a little better at in terms of that offensive line up front. So there's another name to just, as you're compiling, who might be a day 3 guy. Write down that name, Caden Wallace, if you want to. Let's see. As we said, we got Blake Snell making his debut for the Giants this Monday night. It is a dark night in the NBA, as is typical going up against the men's national championship game. The NBA usually goes dark, which means the Warriors are going to be back at it on Tuesday night against the Lakers, where, look, the Warriors could play themselves to the 9 seed instead of being the 10 seed. How much of a difference would that make? I don't know. But let's see. Okay, let's see what happens. The Warriors got like 4 or 5 games left here in the regular season. What is it? Let me officially look here. I don't want to give you. It's Lakers, Blazers, both on the road. Then they come back for Pelicans and Jazz at home, and that's your regular season. The Warriors have, again, secured their spot in the revolving door. That's what I call the play-in tournament, because we were told don't call it the play-in tournament because they're already in, but they're not. So what is it? It's a revolving door. And the revolving door, once you go into it, either spits you inside the hotel of the playoffs or it's going to spit you right back out on the street. So we'll see if the Warriors really get into the playoffs, the real playoffs. I hope they do. Kuminga was back. That is good. They won a game with Steph Curry taking the night off. That is good. Trace Jackson-Davis, again, getting better by the game. That is good. Draymond playing well. That is paramount to any postseason, anything that's about to happen. Chris Paul's going to have to get it going. But most importantly, the difference between, are they good enough to be one and done in the postseason? Are they going to, flirt with upsetting whoever their first round opponent is? Klay Thompson, this is on you. Dude, Klay Thompson is the litmus test of what are the Warriors going to give you tonight? And if you get he's knocking down shots, staying in front of guys, Klay Thompson, it changes everything. Can you get that consistently 4 games out of a 7-game series? I don't know anymore. But man, that's a big part of whatever this is going to look like happening right there. So let's see what Klay's got. And finally, somebody cue up Jim Nance and the tinkling CBS piano. Dun dun dun, dun dun dun, dun 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 dun. Hello, friends. Hey, we don't get Jim Nance at the Final Four anymore, but he'll be at Augusta. And Masters Week is here. I do love me some Masters. It's one of the great naps of the entire year, that Saturday or Sunday afternoon with Jim Nance just whispering to you, with Vern Lundquist out on 16 in the tower. I love it. ESPN's got a story that's saying, barring a setback in the next 4 days, it seems very likely that 5-time Masters champion Tiger Woods is going to make his 26th appearance at Augusta. Oh, my God. 26th appearance for Tiger at Augusta. Woods attempting to set a Masters record by making the cut for the 24th consecutive time. He did make the cut last year, but then had to pull out after making the cut with a rain-delayed third round resuming, and his plantar fasciitis just crept up in his right foot, and he had to walk off the course. So we'll see. We'll see if Tiger can make it to the weekend. His appearance at the Genesis Invitational is his only appearance on the PGA Tour so far this season. He used to be the number one golfer in the world. Right now, he's ranked 950th, needless to say. Elin beating his car in with a with a putter, and then the car accident he actually got in have not been good to Tiger's world golf rankings. Since returning to professional golf since his car wreck, he's withdrawn or missed the cut in 4 of his 6 starts. So it's going to be tough for him to get around Augusta, but Augusta does wake up the ghosts and bring out the best in older golfers. We've seen it. And Tiger knows that course well. Hopefully his back can hold up. Hopefully he makes it to the weekend. That's what makes things interesting. We don't need Tiger to have a great Masters. But boy, an awful lot of great Masters of my lifetime has certainly included Tiger Woods being on that final leaderboard. Again, I'd just like to see him out there on a Sunday knocking it around wearing the red. There we go. Ike saying, good on you, D. Bruce. You can teach an old dog new tricks. I mean, it took nothing short of Caitlyn Clark to bring me into the room. What do we got here? From Crazy Juice. I watched Wrestlemania. I'm very happy to see Cody Rhodes finish his story. Again, I don't know much about Cody Rhodes. I don't know how long he's going to get as a champion. It feels like this was a gift that they gave to the Rhodes family. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I know. I had fun watching. That's all I know. That's all I know. All right. Instead of going full-on Club Plus today, let's just go through the rest of these right here and right now. Chef A asks, do you think that the WNBA will use load management like the boys do? Oh, yeah, that's right. Got to work twice as hard for 70% less of the money. Well, they don't play an 82-game schedule in the WNBA, do they? I don't think they do. I don't know. But no, I'm going to guess that load management has very little to do with WNBA plans for selling tickets. Otis, again, bringing up these things like, feels for real like it never happened. I wonder if Ohtani was still with the Angels, if the gambling story would have been more of a thing. Yeah, I'm telling you, there is an awful lot of interested parties, namely the Dodgers. There were $700 million committed to the guy. That Shohei is just, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that if baseball could either get to if the answer is Shohei did it, baseball will go out of its way to never find that answer. I mean, that's the corruption I believe has infected baseball. By the way, a little video that I'm going to be working on for later this week is how the A's going to Sacramento could absolutely be the thing that blows up their Vegas plan. And Vivek, who opened up the market basically for John Fisher to come to, he ain't John Fisher's friend. I think Vivek is thinking, I can steal a Major League Baseball team. Remember, John Fisher doesn't have friends or allies. So, let's see. Yeah, Chef A. Just, I noticed. I noticed Shohei Ohtani's news cycled out pretty quickly. 82 Atlantic. Hey, Damon, too bad IU didn't fire Mike Woodson, or else you could have had John Calipari instead of Arkansas. That's a story that nobody saw coming. Coach Cal is out at Kentucky. He's going to Arkansas. Let me tell you, he wouldn't play in Indiana. Coach Cal wouldn't be invited into Indiana. I don't want him. I think the way that he sees college basketball is the wrong way to look at college basketball. You know, Coach Cal is content with his college program being springboard for NBA success, but he's not having enough college success. I don't want a coach who's more interested in developing guys for the next level than he is winning a championship right here. And that's kind of the trap that Cal fell into. There's no way that guy would ever be welcome in Indiana coaching the Hoosiers. No way. No way. In Indiana, we shoot ourselves in our foot with our own sanctimony, but it ain't going to happen. It wouldn't have happened. I would have much rather had Eric Musselman. How about that? By the way, did we get eclipsed? Ike is in Kentucky? I'm out live in Kentucky. My eyes are on the sun. It's not fully eclipsed yet. I'll let you know if there are any zombies out here. Ike, did you seriously? Are you an eclipse traveler? An eclipse traveler? I mean, there is an eclipse economy going on here. People traveling to get into that path of totality. Again, the Bloomington is one of the, places to be for your total eclipse of the heart. If you're into that kind of thing. What else we got going on here? Chit-chatting away. I do think I saw one more super chat come in here. Let's see. But Sven says the Undertaker is 59 years old. That's a hard-ridden 59 though, isn't it? That's a rough 59. Undertaker went back under the ring and stayed there during the whole time. Well, didn't they turn the lights off? Didn't he have enough time to be ushered out of there? I don't know. Maybe he did. But they got to have like a little lounge set up underneath there, right? If you got to hang out underneath a ring, it's got to be like a nice little cot, like maybe a PlayStation, good Wi-Fi down there. You can check your DMs. Oh, man. SF Indigo saying, yeah, man, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the two beers, banging against each other. That was great. So, look, I hope you had a great eclipse. I hope this show didn't prevent you from eclipsing thing. Tiger Tank says, hey, Damon, how about NCAA women's gymnastics? Both Cal and Stanford are going to nationals later this month. Call me when it's the Olympics. I'm not going to pretend to care about gymnastics until I'm watching the Olympics. It's like track and field. I'm sorry. I'll be there for the Olympics, which is coming up. I mean, it's fascinating. You got to be a stud athlete to be a gymnast. But no, I'm not going to be watching much of it. Aaron Rivera coming back in again. That's the other super chat that came. Look at Aaron. Tiger putting a stop to pulling out so he doesn't have to pull into the Masters. Oh, I did see that. Tiger Woods is abstaining from sex to get better. I mean, what's it? Women's make weak legs? And that's more of a boxing thing than it is a golf thing, right? Whatever. Violent XRP says, damn, Damon, I've had a shitty couple of weeks and months, and today, right when I thought I did good, won a huge project from my job, I fucked up one D-mail and my work was tossed. That's terrible. Sorry. I hope the rest of your week goes better than today did. Next time, take care of those details, though. Did you know you have to fill out a TPS report now? Got to get those TPS reports right. It's the postman in Capitola. Hold on. Oy, oy, oy! Says this Ohtani stuff shows us that Rob Manfred and all other major league commissioners have no power and just sit at the feet of the owners. Sure does. Another thing where we need a little power is to get Angel Hernandez off the field. Did you see some of the strike calls that he had this week? Oh my God, Angel Hernandez is the worst umpire. It's amazing that we can actually identify who's the worst at something among their peers, and yet that person has indefinite job status. He's awful. He's awful. Angel Hernandez is as bad at being an umpire as the A's are at being a major league franchise under John Fisher. Wait a minute. Ike, I'm shooting a movie in Kentucky? Was also negotiating Coach Cal to Arkansas. So Big Blue Nation. It's no joke, man. Big Blue Nation. It's a hard umbrella to live under. Shooting a movie? Ike, the movie star? I need to know more about this. You're going to have to call me later, Ike, and tell me what's going on. Women weaken legs. Didn't Mickey say that in Rocky? He sure did. There you go. Sportic is all over it. Women weaken legs. Mickey Goldmill. Thank you. That's a thing. I didn't go down that train of thought, but I did have it. Saying, I thought the Tiger was best when he was getting busy. I wish him luck. Yeah, dude, I don't know about abstinence Tiger, but banging Perkins hostesses Tiger was winning Masters. Carl, total eclipse of the Plus. Another from Aaron. Aaron, you spent $20 on the show today, young man. That's enough. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. But I'm just telling you, if you really want to support the show that bad, just sign up to become a member. Become part of the initiated. But thank you so very, very much. Hit like and subscribe. If you look at the eclipse, you'll end up with vision that's not so bad as Angel Hernandez. But bump. I like it. Again, it was great seeing you. Great seeing you today. Oh, konnichiwa, Joji, checking in. Seems like baseball swept the Ippei and Shohei shenanigans right under that carpet. Yeah, it seems to be that to me too. It seems to be that to me too. It would be like there is an awful lot of incentive to make sure he never gets in trouble, don't you think? Little suspicious. Little suspicious. This is why I end every single show with a reminder to let you know that sports don't build character, they reveal it. Rob Manfred. And like that, he's gone.